Iraq war inquiry for me has brought so many of those moments back into my mind, because obviously when I hear not only the questions but in particular the answers, I think back to the events in March and April of 2003, and obviously being there at that moment, one also has a kind of privileged position as to what was taking place and what might and might not have been going through the minds of Tony Blair at that point in time and his close advisors.
You obviously spent time with other foreign leaders, got to see Mr. Blair mixing with other foreign leaders. How do you think he was respected by them? I think there's one photo in the exhibition of Jacques Chirac having some sort of stern words with Tony Blair, and you're one of sort of only 3 people watching this take place. How do you think he was perceived by other world leaders?
What was extraordinary about having the kind of access that I had was that as he tried to tour and rally other leaders, as it were, to the U.S. position, or the U.S. and British position, I was in the extraordinary environment whereby every day Tony Blair was either on the phone to a world leader or actually meeting a world leader. And, for example, the first time that he met up with Jacques Chirac, he'd been very close to Jacques Chirac, President of France, prior to his decision to join the war effort against Saddam Hussein. This was the first meeting, and extraordinarily, I was able to follow them down a corridor in the European Council, just outside the council chamber, and there was an incredibly tense and difficult exchange between 2 former friends. I say former friends because they had really taken such diametrically opposing views, and I think to capture some of that really sums up the difficult moments the Prime Minister was facing, but equally the other world leaders. I mean, during this period of time, I was able to photograph him not only with Jacques Chirac, but with President Bush, both at Camp David and at Hillsborough Castle in Northern Ireland, and another kind of a huge raft of world leaders, mainly European ones. But these were important moments because Britain didn't obviously want to be alone in supporting the United States.
One of the captions in the exhibition talked about Tony Blair wanting to use his own powers of persuasion in the run-up to the war. Did you think he was conscious of coming across as his own man and not a sort of servant of the US as he was being portrayed, maybe?
I think that's absolutely the case, that he was his own man. I mean, he had all sorts of reasons of obviously going along with the United States, but the idea that he was the poodle, which is often how he's caricatured, I would say, because it's not a character trait. I think and I saw this in meetings with Berlusconi, and Aznar, Jacques Chirac, so, the heads of state of France, the Prime Minister of Spain, and Italy at the time. This was a man who clearly had his own thoughts and opinions about what was taking place. He wasn't simply following in the slipstream of the American position.
Do you have any favourite moments from your time? Maybe a favourite photo that's in the exhibition?